Go ahead. You're welcome to discuss your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last week, during the congressional recess, President Donald Trump leveled an unconstitutional threat against Iran and its 90 million residents. The president threatened that, quote, a whole civilization will die tonight, and spoke openly about destroying key civilian infrastructure and unleashing devastation across Iran. This rhetoric is not strength or leadership. It is an anti-American statement that betrays our values and undermines the moral standing of the United States. Every member of Congress, including every member of this committee, has a moral obligation to reject this unconscionable rhetoric. My amendment would do just that. It condemns President Trump's threat in the strongest possible terms as morally repugnant. You cannot publicly say in the name of the American people that a whole civilization will die tonight. It is repugnant to and contrary to the values of the people of the United States and unbecoming to the office of the president. So I recognize that this type of amendment is not typically within the jurisdiction of the Senate Commerce Committee, but when the president makes appalling threats against 90 million people, this committee should not act as if it's business as usual. At a bare minimum, we must unequivocally condemn these threats. If we fail to speak out against rhetoric that casually invokes the annihilation of tens of millions of civilians, then we are abandoning the very principles we claim to defend. So I urge my colleagues to support my amendment.
Well, thank you, Senator Markey. You rightly noted that this amendment is not within the jurisdiction of this committee. I will also observe that this modified amendment was not timely filed. It is not a technical correction to a filed amendment. In the original Markey 3 was an immigration amendment. Now it is an Iran amendment. And look, let me say on the substance, and we're going to vote on your amendment momentarily. On the substance, it used to be the case that politics ended at the water's edge. That when we were in a military conflict, Democrats and Republicans would fight like cats and dogs, but we'd say, you know what, we all stand together behind the servicemen and women who are fighting for America. We stand for our national security. I will say, unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. Our colleagues on the Democrat side, they cannot stand Donald J. Trump, so much so that the fact that they are standing up, we are right now standing up to Iran, engaged in a military conflict that I think is the single most consequential decision of President Trump's presidency, has driven virtually every Democrat nuts. That's unfortunate. Senator Markey said, I forget his exact language, but something to the effect of it's unconscionable to call for the death of a civilization. Well, for 47 years, the Ayatollah has screamed death to America and has led mobs chanting death to America. The Ayatollah has been waging, there have been now multiple Ayatollahs, have been waging war against the United States for 47 years. The Islamic Revolution began by seizing our embassy in Iran, holding our hostages there for 444 days. The Iranian regime is the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism. Hamas, which committed the horrific October 7th atrocities, 90%, more than 90% of Hamas's funding comes from Iran. More than 90% of Hezbollah's funding comes from Iran. More than 90% of the Houthis' funding come from Iran. Iran has killed nearly 1,000 Americans. And so I'm grateful that the president as commander-in-chief is standing up to a theocratic regime that has been murdering Americans for nearly 50 years and is unequivocal in its stated desire to continue murdering Americans. And so I recognize there are genuine and heartfelt disagreements on this. But I wish we were living in a world where both sides would stand together and say, we're going to keep our partisan disagreements here at home. We're going to stand together united when servicemen and women are risking their lives. Unfortunately, that's not where we are. If there are no further discussion,
There's roll call vote, right? Roll call vote.
the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Thune,
No by proxy.
Mr. Wicker,
No by proxy.
Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Moran, Mr. Sullivan, Mrs. Blackburn, Mr. Young, Mr. Budd, Mr. Schmidt,
No by proxy.
Mr. Curtis, Mr. Moreno, Mr. Sheehy, Mrs. Capito, Ms. Lummis, Ms. Cantwell,
Aye.
Ms. Klobuchar, Mr. Schatz,
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Markey,
Aye.
Mr. Peters,
Aye.
Ms. Baldwin,
Aye.
Ms. Duckworth, Ms. Rosen, Mr. Lujan,
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Hickenlooper,
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Fetterman,
No by proxy.
Mr. Kim,
Aye by proxy.
Ms. Blunt Rochester,
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Cruz.
No.
The noes are 16, the yeses are 12.
The amendment is not agreed to.